straight in.
Yeah, here we go. We've got Chag versus honkias going on, starting off on small battlefield. Now, there was the question mark a little bit in my mind of whether Chag was going to start off with the Min as opposed to the Palutena. We saw earlier in the bracket that he was electing to sort of chop and change between the two. But I think particularly against a character like Luigi, I think you really want to go with that comfort pick. There's such specific counterplay and a certain play style that you've really got to like make for yourself that, oh my goodness, yeah, you really got to sort of know to have punishers. Like there, right? You get that sort of whiff on the up B. You think to yourself, right, I need to get that punish. Just clean F smash, take the stock. Lovely start from Chag. We can see here at the moment just another edge guard attempt. Great tech there from Chag, and honkias really struggling to get this stock. Again, a down throw to back air, not quite working out, but just about managing to get that stock there. 81% on the board for honkias at the moment. Chag just going with that less trap, and again, maybe those early morning miss inputs, getting them out here in the first game of the morning, going for that forward tilt. But this back air is going to be the one to connect. And honkias, oh my goodness, what a...
Oh, wow.
Wow, what a wonderful reversal there. Just recognizing, right, I'm dead anyway. You've used that double jump to try and, seal the deal, but instead that deal is looking a little bit... You didn't read the small print on that one, my friend.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing recognition from honkias there. You need to get this game as even as possible. Chag, having so much experience in fighting Luigi previously, you need to show him something he hasn't seen before, and that's something that you're not expecting quite often, but he's doing such a good job at keeping honkias in this corner.
Yeah, this is the big thing, right? Oh, and again, just there are these little moments here and there. Again, maybe just those early morning jitters where Chag has got the right idea, but it's just been these misinputs, missing the turnaround there on the up smash. In the meantime, this is kind of where honkias wants to be, really. There's that fear automatically setting in. Chag going for this incredibly defensive wall of aerials, but honkias, have you got it? Not quite. Getting 65%, but not quite closing it out there.
Yeah, this is still scary for both players here. Obviously, Chag just wanting to keep honkias as far away from him as humanly possible, and that back air will take game one. Lovely stuff there from Chag. I mean, that was just, it was masterful to a point where you can just see him dancing around everything that honkias wants to do, not making his options too obvious, especially when you're drifting with an air dodge. Drifting directly into Luigi, that's terrifying.
No, it's really wonderful to see almost like this really solid game plan in motion from Chag. You can tell that, as you mentioned, he's got plenty of experience in the matchup, and just from the way that he was playing, and it was clear in those early to mid to high percents how the game plan just chopped and changed alongside the flow chart with the edge guards as well. It's really impressive to see how much he's clearly grinded this matchup and knows it to a full. And really, the onus is going to fall on honkias to sort of find a way around this, but automatically swooping in with only a 30%, but it was a meaningful 30%. The message that is sent just to say, I'm not afraid to just sort of swoop in on you as well and change up that pace. And already the game plan is in motion for Chag with honkias once again stuck at the ledge. However...
Yeah, you've always got to be careful about that misfire. Thankfully, Palutena's down tilt is really good at two-framing Luigi specifically, and that back air going potentially through a misfire is also huge. Unfortunately, Chag missing that one, and now honkias might be able to get something going. Just a bunch of up airs, tries to catch a mash out disadvantage, but just barely misses.
Yeah, it almost feels a little bit like honkias is... Oh, what? Right,
no way.
I have got to say, honkias's awareness of... I'm going to use it to... let's call it what it is. Little sprinklings of cheese here and there. It's really, really wonderful to see just the awareness of knowing where he can get those really, really early stocks in those really unusual situations. It feels like almost in the neutral to neutral, like Chag has really got it locked down. But it's in these moments where Chag begins to flounder a little bit, and those moments where you would panic, honkias has just got that perfect option each and every single time. It's really impressive to see. And honestly, at this point, with how dominating Chag has been in neutral and in advantage, it is really what is keeping these games close.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's absolutely needed this to stay in it. And I mean, Chag has just been so surgical in these edge guards, knowing that no jump means you're absolutely dead with Luigi. The counter actually putting in work and working this time. honkias just taking a little second there, and Chag not even moving.
I was going to say, just Lots of these aerials being thrown out, but all it takes is the one from Chag to get these combinations, catching an air dodge on the way down. Again, nearly had the right idea, and honkias once again managing to find an up tilt, but not quite getting the conversion into death. And I love that idea from honkias, deciding, right, you know what, if I'm not quite confident in the conversion, I'll go for the air dodge read instead and see if I can get a bit more. But again, he's really not making these little hits work their magic, so to speak. He's not getting the full mile out of them.
Yeah, and I think with that counter and no jump once again, that's just an exact repeat of last stock, and Chag will take game 2 with a 2 stock. This has been very dominant.
I was going to say, this has been borderline surgical at this point, Kiwi. It's been, particularly these edge guards in that second game, it has just been time after time, just, burning the resources one moment at a time, the 2 frames with the down tilts, the counters on the Luigi missiles, and it's just been the same outcome again and again. And honkias has got to really dig deep to be able to find a way back into this game. Again, we've mentioned that in these unusual situations where you've almost got to improvise a little bit when you go off of the flowchart. honkias has been really, really good at noting, right, how can I get this stock as early as possible? It's been really lovely to see, but it's in these sort of the day-to-day of the matchup that we need to see just these little tweaks of improvement.
Yeah, I just want to quickly comment on how well Chag was juggling honkias that last game. honkias was falling for like the slight empty hop and immediately air dodging, meaning Chag was getting like 40% off of just one up air, and that's really where he's able to capitalize on these percents to be able to kill honkias the second he's off stage. Once again, he's got him in this juggle situation, and you see just waits for the air dodge, and he's been getting so much percent and maybe even a kill. Not quite this time.
Oh, and I love that. Just feigning the back air and instead going for that empty hop grab. And once again, honkias stuck on the ledge. And you see it again, like you mentioned, just these empty hops just to bait out an option and then reacting from there. And we were seeing a little bit earlier on in that first stock how in those mid percents, Chag instead is just electing to use that knowledge against where honkias may not go for that air dodge and instead sort of wait and react to see what Chag does and then just pressing that advantage even more. And the rapid jab, are we going to see any kind of punish? Trying to roll through, but not quite working out. And Chag, are you going to seal the deal with this one?
Yeah, gonna go for the explosive flame high, and that forces an air dodge, and Chag able to use the forward air to get that kill. Only 25% on him, and this is just looking a bit dire for honkias here as another nair train begins, but the down B will break it. Not too bad just yet.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of these stray hits, but honkias not quite managing to get any of these big conversions so far. Finally got Chag at the ledge, but has just met with a forward. A lovely parry, but again, not quite getting anything started. Trying to catch a roll in and a back air to boot. Again, just electing for this damage. I do like the slight adjustment of, instead of going for, say, the bigger punish that you're not quite confident on, just going for that guaranteed damage. I do think, particularly if you're not quite confident in your punish, trying to get a bit of shield pressure going there, it's,
Ooh. That was a lovely little up tilt to put honkias in the air. The down smash as well to try and cover it, but unfortunately it doesn't work. But lovely ideas. I appreciate the sort of free flow gameplay that Chag's going for here. And honkias, this is probably the first sign of life I feel like I've seen from him in quite a bit in this set. Yeah, and an up smash will swing. Somehow the down tilt doesn't push him too far away, and honkias is able to actually get a stock.
I was going to say, this has been the thing, right, is that I feel like honkias has not been given these opportunities to get the bigger strings, so is relying on these sort of 1-2 pieces, and in particular the stray hits as well. Finally managing with the up smash to get a stock on the board. And hey, it could be that burst of confidence that he needs to get back into the swing of things. At the end of the day, first game of the day, but manages to get a down throw. And again, it's what we're seeing, just not getting these conversions that we're typically used to seeing from Luigi. But again, his survivability has been so good so far, and I like the little extra usages of down B, thinking to himself, right, okay, well, if Chag is going to start swinging or even empty hopping to try and get around me, I'm just going to throw out this big, insane hitbox that you have to respect. But honkias, you've made a couple of adjustments, my friend, but is it too little too late here on this last stock?
Yeah, there's just small things that honkias is getting hit by. I mean, DIing in on Palu down throw, it's just a recipe for death. Of course, the Luigi down B will help him in that case, and now he's trying to juggle Chag from side to side. Got Chag in the corner here, but they're just both sitting in shield. Neither of them wants to be the first one to make the move, and, well, honkias, you need this stock pretty soon, bud.
It's wild as well, the confidence from the fact that Chag has almost conditioned honkias to the point where Chag is comfortable to sit in shield for 3 seconds against Luigi is like ridiculous to me. It's the fact that, you know, all of these games so far, Chag has just really almost molded honkias' game plan to a point where actually shield becomes viable against Luigi, which 9 times out of 10, really not something you want to be doing because of, you know, the power of that grab. But again, when you've been conditioning a player for so long and also
Oh,
recognizing a
Don.
lot of his, another one as well. Okay, all right, honkias, all right, honkias.
No, I rate that completely. That's so good. Well, if Honky's able to bring it back from this point, that's a taunt to get bodied for the ages, but we'll see if he can get past this ledge first. Just opts to roll on. One grab could do it for him here, but Chag not wanting to get off of these platforms.
Yeah, now once again you're stuck at the ledge. However, an aggressive down B is going to serve you well, and a bit of a haphazard counter there from Chag, and I almost feel like that's installed a little bit of fear. And the up air, the second one is going to connect, and there we
Oh,
go. Once again, like you said, bait out the air dodge, wait for that moment, and even though Honkius will get the clip on VGBC, I'm sure it is going to be Chag that takes the W, making his way further into that winner's side bracket. But I've got to say, it felt like there was a bit of warming up coming there from
yeah.
Honkius as you got towards, you know, the end of that game 2 and beginning of that game 3. It did feel as if he was beginning to find himself a little bit more. Again, the conversions weren't quite on point, I would say, compared to what we typically see from Luigi, but it is game 1 of the day. I mean, you know, it's going to be an early start for everyone involved, and I think the warm-up has almost been taken in place, so dread to think who he's got in losers, but hey, they're in for a ride, let me tell you.